Hey, what's up guys? So today's video is going to be about Hyojin, aka Squizzy. I'm going to refer to her by Hyojin, by the way, because saying both of them is too much and I know her mostly by Hyojin. But if you don't know who she is a animation channel who was also kind of part of a group of friends like a couple years ago that were really popular, right? Like Wild Spartans, Quite, King Ani, her, as Slazo, all those people. I'm Alex, right? I'm Alex. These people, these were the people that were involved. She was a part of that drama. If you don't know the drama, the Slazo drama, a girl by the name of Shay, who was Slazo's ex, accused him of things like rape and just pretty hardcore stuff, and all of the friends basically backed her up. And Hyojin, being one of the people who actually helped write the document, knowing full well all the messages, she saw a lot of the stuff, she still helped her out. And Slazo later on basically debunked virtually everything. He debunked everything, and she falsely accused him of some pretty fucked up stuff. It's not okay for anybody in the situation, because a lot of the friends, if they apologized, it was really half-assed, and some of them just doubled down, like King Ani, and I believe Hyojin a little bit doubled down on it. Something that I saw that kind of hit me a little bit was a guy basically said, I thought it was common knowledge that Hyojin Squizzy was a known piece of shit ever since the Slazo incident. I thought that too, but I guess she wasn't. I guess people actually liked her still, which I really don't understand how people still liked her, even after all of that. But today we're going to be talking about what she did, because basically a YouTuber by the name of Punk Duck made a post saying my history with my abuser. She was dating Punk Duck in the years 2019 to 2021, midway through 2021, and she was extremely abusive. Now, before I get into this, I want to put a disclaimer about how difficult this may be for some people who might have traumatic experiences or something, so please click off the video if you don't want to, listen to some of it, because I don't know if this stuff triggers like a trauma or something like that, right? It's not like simple abuse, it's like she actually does something pretty fucked up, so like I just kind of want to alarm you guys before this if you can't handle stuff like that, but let's get into it. So basically what happened was Hyojin and Punk Duck used to date, they would have normal arguments, right? But the twist to that was that she would manipulate it to be his fault every time. Sometimes it was his fault, yeah, but if it was her fault, it would still be his fault. She would say stuff like, you're just doing this to make me feel stupid, just fucking leave then, to kind of convince him that, okay, I just have to apologize, and then they never would resolve anything. And fast forward, this would keep happening. Other things like her saying stuff like, you're fucking useless to him anytime he couldn't like help her with something, or like if he couldn't figure out something for her, then it just kind of would be her calling him useless and stuff, which brings us to the main topic. In New Year's 2020, he went down to Australia to go see her and her family, and during like New Year's, they set up a tent basically, and he was trying to set up a tent in a nice area publicly, and she was not helping. He was struggling to do so, and she would call him things like useless and start a fight with him that basically was very embarrassing for him because it was in front of everybody. People watched it as it was happening. It kind of just ruined the night, right? A couple days later, he was trying to help her with installing a game, and Steam was being kind of meh, and she started yelling at him, blaming him, telling him to fuck off, and it was to the point where he was at the verge of tears on their bed. She then sat down, got on a Discord call with friends, and continued to chat with them like nothing happened. And to him, he was in disbelief because she just made him basically cry. So we went up to her and said, are you actually doing this? She got up, deafened the call, and hit him really hard, to the point where his head hit the wall. Now, in the text messages, he does state that it was multiple times to her, and of course the text messages were after this entire scene, but I don't know if it was multiple times. It seems like it was only a one-time thing in this kind of statement here. It probably was maybe multiple times, so I'm just gonna leave it at one though, just so I don't sound fucking stupid. But basically what happened was they stared at each other. He basically said, what the fuck did you just do? And she stormed out of the room crying, and that's when he realized he needs to get out of the fucking house. So he called his friend so he can get out. He helped him, he said, yeah, you can stay with me for the night. They called an ambulance for her and him for their own safety basically, and called an Uber for himself. And so he started gathering his stuff so he can pack, tried to pack so that as quick as he could so that she wouldn't see him leaving, but the problem was she walked in on him leaving or packing, and that pissed her off. She started crying again and saying that he ruined her year, then ran to the bathroom with a knife, pointed it at Punk Duck then decided to point it at herself, which then he lunged at her to disarm the weapon, right? And it led to him getting cut up pretty bad. He managed to get the knife away, but her mother stepped in and started doing some pretty fucked up stuff to her, saying really fucked up stuff to her, things like that, calling her an attention whore, a drama queen, and that she does this all the time, and that she's sick in the head, and then just walked away like nothing happened. And I'll get into the parent stuff afterwards, but that's basically what happened. He was scared for his life. And what happened was the police showed up. The police managed to show up, and that was not part of his plan. He did not call the police, but the police showed up. He told them what happened truthfully. He did not lie. He told them what happened truthfully, and she was put in custody and put into jail. Which after that, when he was staying at his friend's house, she basically sat there saying that she's a whole foot shorter than him. He should have just beaten the shit out of her instead of getting her put into jail for 6 hours, because that would have been better. Now she has to deal with a criminal charge. Or she wanted him to lie. She wanted him to not call the ambulance, even though he did it for her safety and his safety, and basically just blamed it all on him again, right? She put all the blame on him, and this is where it drew the straw, right? Like, he was done with her. They broke up, but here's the twist. He kept kind of getting back with her, and the biggest reason is because he was afraid she was going to kill herself, right? If he left. It kept going back and forth with breakups in fear of her killing herself, right? And at some point during COVID, he was able to get out of the situation using COVID, saying they don't see each other anymore. But that led to him being in a Discord, telling his friends of his experience and what happened to him, basically. She found out about that, and this was like years past, right? This is like 2021, I believe. And she found out that he was doing that. She then called him childish for thinking that she was abusing him and kind of threw some threats his way. Now, 24 hours later, she basically apologized, but the apology seemed more like gaslighting. It didn't feel like she wrote it. In his words, that's what he says. And then he also states that weeks before the breakup, she basically lied about having a therapist, taking medication, and getting help to make him feel better. It's just fucked up, right? That's basically everything that happened. And now for the aftermath. So basically what I wanted to talk about with the parents is that she clearly went through a lot of abuse in her past because of her parents. And you can tell through like the messages and stuff, right? But here's what I have to say. In no way, shape, or form is that an excuse to abuse another human being, because in the text messages, she literally says shit like, I've been abused more than you, that means I'm not abusing you. Stuff like that, right? It's like she uses her past abuse to basically kind of get away with what she's doing to him right now, which I think is ridiculous. And I'm not trying to throw too much of my opinion into this drama, because obviously, you know, there's not much to go off of. At the end of the day, Hyojin is a really fucked up person. She already fucked up once in the past, you know, trying to fuck over Slazo and basically ruining Slazo's career. She even was an abuser herself, which is absolutely ironic that she would do shit like this, just like the other people that have in her life, right? Just like these other shitty people, right? So it's just really ironic. And yeah, she ruined her career. This is probably some of the most fucked up abuse I've seen in a while. I've seen some pretty fucked up abuse from YouTubers. I don't know. To me, this one takes the cake just because it's one of the first ones I've really dived into. This one just hits really hard, you know, because it's like, this is fucked up. And again, like, arguments happen in relationships. I've argued with my girlfriend a lot. We've had really rough fights, bad fights. But the difference between this and that is that we grow. We learn how to handle situations better over time. Throughout this entire relationship, it's the same pattern of it's always his fault. And she will never own up to it. And she'll use her suicide as a way to get him to stay. It's the same consistency. Like, for example, me and my girlfriend, we learn, we get better, we change, we learn how to, like, handle situations better. Even if we've had past traumas, even if we've had past incidences, even if we have struggles, we get better for each other, right? That's how you're supposed to handle things. This is ridiculous. The scare factor here is like, what if Punk Duck was stabbed? What if this happened, right? Like, what happens if something like that happened and he loses his life, right? You don't do shit like that, obviously. But I also think it was a good thing because it at least alerted him to get out of this relationship, and it brought her to kind of justice, right? Now we're finally able to just get the information all out there, so she can't really have this career anymore. Because to be honest with you, I really hope that she kind of leaves YouTube and just gets help. Obviously, I'm a guy who thinks that people deserve second chances, which in this circumstance, if she actually went out to get help, medication, therapy, and did genuinely get better, sure, I can see her coming back, but I'm just not going to really enjoy it, right? Because I don't think she deserves it, right? It's just not, it's not worth it, right? Like, at this point, she should just quit, kind of just like Shay, quit. That entire group of friends, she should just quit. All of them were shitty people, and she's just joining the few. Oh, and also before I end this off, I wanted to point out she did kind of respond to it, but in a really goofy way. I can't tell if she's just lost her mind at this point and she's just being all weird. I'll put up the not the messages, the tweets. But yeah, it's just her being kind of goofy about it, I guess. Like her saying she's a shitty person, she's a whore now. Like it just feels like she's just making it worse for herself, right? But anyways, guys, I'm gonna end this video off here. If you want to look at all of the information, I'll put the link to the tweet below so you guys can look at all the messages and everything for yourself and form your own opinion. And as always, guys, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.